A prática é importante para qualquer criador de jogos iniciante. Na verdade, prática é essencial para você ter segurança nas suas habilidades e também ter o que mostrar para possíveis empregadores ou investidores. Por isso, se você ainda não está na indústria, tente ter sempre um game em preparação, mesmo que seja um projeto autoral, feito sem recursos nas horas vagas, de uma maneira limitada, porque você precisa ter algo em andamento para poder continuar aprimorando seus talentos. É claro, planeje jogos curtos e bem focados, para que você possa dar conta de realizar sozinho ou pouca ajuda esse projeto. Criar 1, 2, 3 ou até 10 jogos bem pequenos vai lhe dar maior aprendizado e autoconfiança para você encarar projetos maiores. E você também vai ampliando o seu repertório de técnicas e truques de criação e desenvolvimento de games. Ou seja, é um aprendizado que ele vai se somando cada dia à medida que você vai pegando outros projetos. Mas considerando que você já criou alguns jogos simples, que alguns estão até bem acabados, prontos para serem apresentados ao público, vale a pena você dar o passo seguinte, ou seja, lançar o seu jogo. Mesmo que você não tenha planos de fazer dinheiro com ele, mesmo que você lance de forma gratuita, mesmo que você, no final, apenas alguns amigos joguem o seu jogo, é importante que você passe por essa experiência de lançar o jogo. Vale a pena aproveitar essa oportunidade para testar também as suas habilidades de marketing. Pensa nisso como um aprendizado, que vai ser útil mais lá na frente para você, quando você estiver se preparando para lançar jogos mais ambiciosos em um cenário, um contexto mais profissional. O vídeo a seguir dá boas dicas sobre esse processo de lançamento.
Besides, if you truly have a great game and you don't let people know about it, you're doing everybody a disservice. The first thing you need to do is understand your own message. Why is your game unique and interesting? With so many options for their free time, why should people play your game? What experience do you offer them that they've never been offered before? Really understanding what's going to draw players into your game is essential as you reach out to other people. As a side benefit, if you figure this out early enough, it'll also really help you make the game better when you're building it. Okay, so now that you've figured out what's special about your game and how to convey it, how do you get the word out? Well, let's assume that you've got no marketing budget. What can you do? First, you'll need to put together a few things to get noticed. These can be pretty basic. They just have to be clean, elegant, and express that core idea. One thing you'll need is a trailer. Make sure it's no more than 3 minutes long. There's plenty of free video editing software out there, so this can be done with just some elbow grease. But if you got a friend who's already done some editing before, it might be time to call in a favor. The other thing you'll need is a website. Something basic is fine. It could even be WordPress. It just has to look presentable. Simple and professional is a lot better than complex and amateur. Once you have those, it's time to enter your game into the indie game competitions. Getting into something like IGF is a great way to get your game noticed, and it's essentially free. There are small fees attached to some of them, but it's trivial compared to any paid marketing or PR. Second, start communicating with other people in the game industry over social media. See if you can get your game into the hands of one of the tastemakers out there. If somebody like Tim Schafer tweets about your game, a lot of people, including media people, are going to perk up. Again, don't be shy about calling in favors here. Next, mail all of the game news sites. Now you might think, I'll never get picked up by somebody like Rock Paper Shotgun or Destructoid or Kotaku, but the truth is, their job is to have content. That's what catches eyes and generates ad revenue. If it's a slow news day, they'll absolutely post about a tiny indie game if it looks interesting. And start also giving some love to the smaller game sites that really focus on your genre. Whether it's intense strategy wargaming or quiet emotive experiences, there are sites dedicated to the aspect of play that your game focuses on, and that's where you'll find your early adopters and your most vocal evangelists. As your game goes towards launch, figure out how you're going to build up the attention as the launch closes in. Consider doing a Reddit AMA, or go on podcasts. Release new screenshots and trailers frequently, and make sure to let all the media sites know each time you do it. Once you've done all that, it's time to launch. But where are you going to launch your game? Well, there are a ton of options here. First off, there are, of course, traditional digital distributors like Good Old Games and Steam. We'll talk a little bit more about Steam in a bit, but don't be afraid to reach out to these services. They may seem like these monolithic entities where real games go, and you may think that your game is beneath their notice. Don't worry about that. Digital distributors are actually a lot easier to get your game on than many people think. They make their money off of every sale you make, whether you sell 100 or 100,000 copies. And since it doesn't really cost them anything to put more products up on their store, they're generally pretty happy to work with anybody who has a reasonably well put together product. As for Steam in particular, just know that you're really going to have to do that press and PR stuff I mentioned earlier if you want to make it past Greenlight. But when you're thinking about distribution, also think beyond the traditional digital distributors. The various mobile app stores out there actually reach way more customers than Steam does by a fairly wide margin. Sites like Congregate and Newgrounds allow your audience instant access to your game from basically any PC in the world, and provide you an opportunity to get feedback every second of every day. Specialty distributors like Slytherin can really help you reach a niche. Heck, Xbox One, the PS4, and the Wii U all have digital stores as well, and while they are more difficult to get into than some of the PC distributors, it's actually easier to get access to these as a developer than it's ever been, since all of these companies are looking for unique selling points for their platforms. Even Facebook is a distribution possibility. Don't rule out anything. Think about how your game plays and where it's going to find its audience, and put it there.